What's up guys, Roman from R&S Entertainment here with another episode of Comic History, the series where we go over iconic origins and storylines for all sorts of comic characters and series. In this video we're going to be talking about Deadpool's origin as it's presented in X-Men Origins Deadpool number 1. As Deadpool's origin has been done 100 different ways and is often open to interpretation because of the character's insanity. This origin is set around Deadpool pitching his story to a screenwriter, trying to get the jump on Hollywood, inevitably making him into a movie. Our story starts with Deadpool's 3:30 appointment showing up to a blood-soaked house in Hollywood Hills, pushing past a fleeing man with a bullet wound running away in terror. Deadpool is casually sitting around with a bottle of whiskey, 2 glasses, and a pistol, and he tells the writer that his last 2 appointments didn't go so well. The first was a Michael Bay fanboy who wanted constant explosions and battles. He got shot in the arm and sent on his way. The second was a douche who wanted to ditch the mercenary angle, quote unquote, and make Deadpool a sad country singer with an alcohol problem. And we saw him running away bleeding when the third guy showed up. Deadpool asks him what he's got, and the guy says he doesn't have anything. He just wants to hear Deadpool's story. Deadpool pours some whiskey and sits back to tell his origin story, jumping in right at the part where he got his powers. After volunteering for experimental cancer treatments for his stage 4 cancer, Wade Wilson emerges from the medical tank a disfigured burn victim, although one with the ability to rapidly recover from any other injury. Shooting him in the hand, they watch his fingers regrow, though his body was still disfigured and ugly. Attempting to get him to heal all the way back to normal, they douse him with a flamethrower, but no matter how serious the injury, he always kept the scars. This put a damper on the reason they wanted him to undergo these experiments in the first place. Their goal was to create an ultimate assassin, and Deadpool's disfigurements made him stick out like a sore thumb. Deadpool is taken to a prison made to hold the results of failed medical experiments, and he knows that he has to find a way out. Tricking a guard by acting weak and then insulting him for being fat, Deadpool provokes him into entering the cell and beats him down before escaping the facility, taking out all the guards along the way. Deadpool then dons a costume like the superheroes in his comics he read in prison, and fell back into his previous career of being a mercenary, going into this one time when he was assigned to kill Cable, and they became friends. And wait. The writer stops Deadpool and asks him to back up a little bit and talk about who Wade Wilson was before Deadpool. Deadpool's first response is that Wade Wilson was an idiot. He was a young mercenary with a moral code, only willing to take on jobs that he felt were justified, killing dangerous dictators and the like, and returning home to his attractive girlfriend in Boston. His life turns sour when he finds out that he has stage 4 cancer, prompting him to leave his girlfriend out of desire to never be a burden on anyone, wandering around drinking and getting in fights, losing hope until a fellow mercenary tells him of an experimental treatment in Canada, which leads him to gaining his powers, etc., etc. The writer then asks him to go even further back to fill us in on who Wade Wilson was when he was a child before he became a mercenary, and Deadpool sips his whiskey and flashes back to his childhood, where him and his dad would always play a game where the dad would tell a knock-knock joke from behind the front door, and on the punchline he would rush in and hug him. But one day his dad walked out and never came back, with Wade desperately knocking on the door in denial, hoping it was part of the joke. Wade's mom goes into a deep depression and becomes an alcoholic, compulsively drinking and ordering infomercial products while ignoring her child, and Wade blames himself, thinking that she would be fine if he weren't a burden on her. He runs off one day, and later when he's old enough enlists in the military, where he finds he is a crack shot with a weapon and has a keen tactical mind, and afterward goes into business for himself, murdering dictators and corrupt politicians for money, which he says isn't too different than now, only now he doesn't care about the cause. He says his mom had it right all along, that when you're confronted with a horrible situation, only 2 things make sense, laughter or tears, and tears hurt too much, showing that Deadpool uses his constant humor as a coping mechanism. Deadpool starts to go into a story of that one time he fought the Hulk, and the writer stops him again, saying that this is pure gold and is going to make an amazing movie. The last thing he asks Deadpool is if he could see his father one last time and ask him one question, what would it be? And Deadpool says he'd ask him for the punchline. About 3 years later, Deadpool is attending the debut of Deadpool Origins the movie, and after the writer tells him it's everything they talked about, he sits down to watch. The movie that he sees is everything wrong with Hollywood, from them getting his name wrong, to constant explosions every 2 seconds with no provocation, to him being a constant quipping idiot throughout the scenes of serious backstory he had shared with the writer, to the generic shoehorned in Hollywood romance scene on a beach, complete with Celine Dion music, and Deadpool gets madder and madder until the scene with his father leaving was turned into some presidential spy action movie plot, ending with him literally exploding, and Deadpool has finally had enough, saying that he doesn't need Hollywood and that he had been living in imaginary situations all his life, murdering the entire movie theater full of people, and then thinking to himself, imaginary situations like these, showing that he didn't really go on a murderous rampage and making us question how much of Deadpool's history has just been his imagination to help cope with his fucked up life. He does blow up the writer's car for fucking up his life story though. We see Deadpool driving out of the city into the desert, pulling up to a lone shack and knocking on the door. From the other side he hears who's there, and he says, "Wade." "Wade? Wade who?" "Wait till you see what happened to me, Dad," he says, pulling off his mask and revealing his fucked up face. And that is the end of the story. If you're not familiar with Deadpool, you may wonder why it's so dark and sad and existential, and that's because the quippy, nonsensical, fourth wall breaking Deadpool is only a part of how the character has been portrayed. There's actually a ton of stories that hit very serious notes and are worth reading. So what did you think of Deadpool Origins? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Check out the other episodes of Comic History along with all sorts of great content on comics, TV shows, movies, and more. If you'd like to see a specific storyline or origin in an episode of Comic History, go check out our Patreon at patreon.com/rnsentertainment and donate. At a certain level, you can commission any episode of Comic History you'd like, along with other great perks and rewards. Also, make sure to subscribe to my gaming channel, like and follow us on Facebook, and take it easy, guys.